Do you ever find yourself in a conversation, perhaps at a family gathering or a friendly lunch, where someone asks a question that feels a little too personal? Maybe it's about your money, your health, or even your true feelings about someone else. In those moments, you might feel a pang of discomfort, a tiny whisper in your mind saying, "Should I really say this?" It's a tricky line to walk. Isn't it? We value openness and connection, especially with those we love and trust. But sometimes, sharing too much, even with the best intentions, can lead to unexpected heartache, complicated situations, or even resentment. You might open up hoping for understanding, only to find judgment, unsolicited advice that feels intrusive, or even a shift in how others perceive you. That feeling of vulnerability, once a bridge to connection, can suddenly feel like an exposed nerve. It's a painful reality that sometimes the people closest to us are the ones who, unintentionally or not, can create the most discomfort when we share deeply personal information. But what if I told you there are certain things, sensitive details about your life, your past, your present, and even your future, that are better kept just for you, not out of dishonesty, but out of a profound sense of self-protection, peace of mind, and respect for your own boundaries? In this video, we're going to explore 5 specific areas of your life that, for your own serenity and to maintain healthy relationships, are best kept private. These aren't about deceit, they're about wisdom, discretion, and safeguarding your emotional well-being as you navigate these vibrant years. Watch to the end, because there's something about these secrets that might truly surprise you and change the way you interact with the world around you. Now, let's dive into the very first area where discretion can be your greatest ally: your exact financial worth and your specific inheritance plans. This might sound counterintuitive to some, especially if you come from a family that has always been open about money. But hear me out. While it's natural to want to provide for your loved ones, and perhaps even discuss general plans with your spouse or a trusted financial advisor, detailing the precise numbers of your savings, investments, or how your assets will be distributed can open a Pandora's box of unforeseen issues. Think about it for a moment. When people, even family members you adore, know the exact figures in your bank account, the value of your property, or the specific breakdown of your will, their perception of you can subtly, or sometimes not so subtly, shift. Suddenly, you might find yourself seen not just as a beloved parent, grandparent, aunt, or uncle, but perhaps as a potential source of funds. Conversations might drift towards their financial struggles, their dreams that require capital, or even veiled suggestions for how you could help. It's an uncomfortable position to be in, isn't it? You love them. You want to support them. But you also have worked hard your whole life to achieve a certain level of financial security. And that security is for your peace of mind, for your later years, and for your legacy, on your terms. Beyond direct requests, knowing precise financial details can also foster a sense of entitlement, or, conversely, resentment among family members. If one child knows another is set to inherit a slightly larger share, even for very valid, well-thought-out reasons, it can sow seeds of discord. Sibling rivalries, long dormant, can resurface with a vengeance, tearing at the fabric of family relationships that you've painstakingly nurtured over decades. Imagine the family dinners becoming tense, the phone calls filled with undertones, simply because a number, meant to be a private decision, became public knowledge too soon, or perhaps ever. It's not about mistrusting your family. It's about protecting them from the very real and often intense pressures that money can introduce into even the most loving relationships. So, how do you navigate this sensitive territory? The key is to be strategically vague without being dishonest. If someone asks about your retirement savings, a simple, "Oh, I've planned things out to be comfortable. Thank you," is perfectly adequate. If conversations veer towards future inheritances, you can gently steer them away by saying something like, "My estate plans are all taken care of, and I've ensured everything is legally sound. My main focus right now is enjoying life." You don't need to elaborate. You don't need to justify. Your financial decisions, particularly those related to your legacy, are deeply personal and are best communicated formally through legal channels when the time is right, rather than casually over a cup of tea. This privacy allows you the freedom to make your financial choices without external pressure or unsolicited advice. It allows you to feel secure in your own resources, knowing that they are truly yours to manage and allocate as you see fit, without the burden of others' expectations. It's about maintaining your independence and dignity, ensuring that your relationships are based on love and connection, not on what you might or might not leave behind. Your financial privacy is a cornerstone of your autonomy, a quiet strength that allows you to live your life on your own terms, without constant scrutiny or the potential for conflict stemming from monetary expectations. It truly creates a buffer, allowing your personal financial landscape to remain a calm, well-managed space, free from the sometimes stormy waters of familial expectations. Now, having talked about the delicate nature of our financial lives, let's turn our attention to another deeply personal aspect that, when overshared, can unintentionally burden or even alienate those around us: our specific medical diagnoses and treatment details. We all experience health changes as we age, and it's natural to want to share aspects of our journey with those we care about. However, there's a significant difference between a general update, say, "I'm feeling a bit under the weather," or "I had a successful checkup, and I'm recovering well," and delving into the intricate, often worrying, specifics of a medical diagnosis, medication dosages, or every detail of a treatment plan. While your friends and family undoubtedly care about you, sharing every ache, every diagnostic result, or every medical concern can inadvertently create a ripple effect of anxiety and an overwhelming sense of responsibility for them. Imagine for a moment you share a very detailed account of a challenging diagnosis, while your loved ones might react with immediate sympathy and concern. That concern can quickly morph into pervasive worry. They might constantly ask about your symptoms, suggest remedies they read about online, or even try to manage your appointments or diet, often with the best of intentions, but sometimes to the point where it feels stifling. This can leave you feeling less independent, perhaps even infantilized, or as if you're becoming a burden. Moreover, the constant focus on your health issues can become the central theme of your interactions, overshadowing the vibrant, multifaceted person you are. You might find yourself dreading conversations, knowing they will inevitably circle back to your latest lab results or the side effects of a new medication. Your health journey is profoundly personal, and while a support system is vital, the details of that journey, particularly the more granular medical information, often belong primarily between you and your healthcare providers. You have the right to process and navigate your health on your own terms, sharing only what you feel comfortable with, and only when you're ready, without feeling pressured to provide a running commentary. It's about protecting your emotional space and ensuring your relationships remain balanced and enjoyable, rather than solely centered on illness. Moving on to another sensitive area, one that touches upon our past and our personal growth: your past mistakes or deeply held regrets. We all have them, don't we? Moments we wish we could rewind, decisions we'd alter if given the chance. Perhaps it was a career choice, a relationship that ended badly, or a family misunderstanding that festered. While sharing life lessons learned from these experiences can be incredibly valuable and inspiring, particularly to younger generations, detailing the raw, unvarnished specifics of every regret can often do more harm than good, both to you and to your listeners. When you recount a past mistake with all its painful details, you risk several things. Firstly, you might reopen old wounds for yourself, reliving the pain and regret rather than simply acknowledging the lesson. Secondly, your listeners might not offer the empathetic response you hope for. They might judge, offer unsolicited advice on what you should have done, or even use that information later in a moment of frustration, bringing up your past in an argument. Even worse, if your regret involves another person, especially someone still alive and connected to your circle, revealing details can cause deep hurt, reignite dormant conflicts, or paint them in an unfavorable light without their consent. The past, once shared in its entirety, cannot be unshared. It becomes part of the shared narrative, and you lose control over how it's interpreted or used. While introspection and self-forgiveness are crucial for peace, public confession of deep regrets, particularly those that might implicate others, can disrupt the very peace you seek. The wisdom gained from your experiences is priceless, but the specific, often messy, details are best processed privately, perhaps with a therapist, or kept as a testament to your personal journey, rather than broadcast. Now, let's talk about something that can quietly, yet powerfully, erode trust and harmony in your closest circles, sharing your detailed, often critical, opinions about other friends or family members. It's easy to fall into this trap. A minor annoyance, a differing viewpoint, or even a deep-seated frustration with someone can lead us to vent to a trusted confidant. We feel a need to process, to seek validation, or simply to express our feelings. However, the moment you articulate specific criticisms, judgments, or negative observations about one loved one to another, you risk becoming a conduit for gossip, fostering triangulation, and ultimately, damaging relationships. Consider the dynamics if you tell one family member what you truly think about another's parenting style, financial habits, or life choices. That information rarely stays contained. It might be repeated, perhaps unintentionally, or even intentionally used to stir conflict. You could unwittingly become the source of a feud, or a go-between in disagreements that have nothing to do with you. Furthermore, when you allow yourself to be the sounding board for criticisms of others, you inadvertently send a message that you are willing to discuss people behind their backs. This can lead to a quiet erosion of trust, as your confidant might wonder if you speak about them in a similar fashion to others. It creates a subtle but potent environment of suspicion. Instead of building bridges, you might be unintentionally creating chasms. Maintaining a diplomatic silence, especially when faced with opportunities to criticize or take sides, is a powerful act of wisdom and integrity. It means refusing to participate in gossip, even when it feels tempting, and choosing to encourage direct communication or simply letting things go. Your home, your conversations, should be safe spaces, not places where reputations are subtly undermined. It's about protecting the collective peace and ensuring that your relationships are built on respect and genuine connection, not on shared grievances. Next, we'll dive into perhaps the most intimate secret of all, and why keeping it private can be incredibly liberating. Finally, let's explore the fifth and perhaps most profound secret that is best kept close to your heart: your deepest fears, anxieties, and vulnerabilities that make you feel truly exposed. We all carry these. Perhaps it's a fear of loneliness, a worry about losing your independence, an anxiety about future health, or a vulnerability stemming from a past trauma that still quietly echoes in your mind. While sharing our feelings and seeking support is incredibly important, there's a fine line between healthy vulnerability and exposing yourself in a way that can inadvertently disempower you or invite reactions that aren't truly helpful. When you lay bare your rawest fears, particularly to those who might not possess the emotional maturity or the appropriate capacity to handle them, you risk a few things. Firstly, you might inadvertently give power to your fears. By speaking them aloud repeatedly, you can make them feel more real, more potent, even if they are largely unfounded. Secondly, well-meaning loved ones might react with excessive worry, leading them to become overprotective. They might try to shelter you from situations, make decisions for you, or limit your activities, all out of love, but ultimately stifling your autonomy and your sense of self-reliance. This overprotection, though gentle, can make you feel weaker than you are, subtly chipping away at your confidence and independence, especially when you are actively trying to maintain it. For instance, if you express a deep fear of falling, friends might insist you never go out alone, or family members might constantly hover, turning a simple walk into a supervised excursion. While their concern comes from a place of love, it can inadvertently amplify your fear and diminish your desire to stay active and independent. Similarly, if you voice a profound anxiety about money, even after discussing your financial plans, you might find yourself subjected to constant, often unnecessary, financial advice or scrutiny. It can make you feel as though your concerns are being dismissed, or worse, that your judgment is being questioned. Furthermore, there's the delicate balance of trust. While we want to trust our friends and family completely, revealing your most profound vulnerabilities can sometimes, regrettably, be used against you, even unintentionally, in moments of conflict or frustration. A cutting remark delivered in anger might touch on a vulnerability you once shared, causing immense pain. It's not that people are inherently malicious, but emotions run high, and private confessions can become fodder for public disagreement. Instead of exposing every raw nerve, the wise approach is to cultivate inner resilience, to work through these deep-seated fears and anxieties perhaps with a trusted professional, or through quiet contemplation and self-care. Save the deepest, most tender parts of your emotional landscape for those very few, truly exceptional individuals who have proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, their capacity for profound empathy, unwavering support without judgment, and absolute discretion. Sometimes, the strongest act of self-love is to hold certain truths, certain fears, quietly within your own heart, processing them at your own pace, and deciding exactly how much, or how little, of your inner world you wish to reveal. It allows you to feel truly safe and secure within your own being. So, as we bring our conversation to a close, let's reflect on the wisdom we've uncovered. We've talked about safeguarding your financial details, keeping your health journey a personal narrative, choosing wisely what past regrets to share, practicing discretion about others' flaws, and protecting your most vulnerable fears. These aren't about being secretive in a negative way. They are about cultivating a peaceful, autonomous existence. It's about understanding that while connection is vital, not every corner of your life needs to be illuminated for public viewing. You have the inherent right to your privacy, to your personal narrative, and to your emotional sovereignty. Remember, small changes in how you manage information can make a big difference in your peace of mind and the quality of your relationships. It's about setting healthy boundaries, not building walls. It's about choosing discretion as a form of self-care and respect, allowing you to control your own narrative and protect your emotional energy. You've lived a full life, gathered immense wisdom, and now is the time to truly enjoy the fruits of that wisdom, including the discernment to know what to share and what to hold sacred within yourself. This practice isn't about isolating yourself. It's about enriching your most important connections by removing potential sources of friction and misunderstanding. It's about fostering relationships built on genuine affection and mutual respect, rather than on expectations or anxieties. I truly hope this conversation has resonated with you and offered a fresh perspective on the power of personal boundaries. What are your thoughts on these 5 areas? Have you ever experienced a situation where sharing too much led to unintended consequences? I'd love to hear your experiences and insights in the comments section below. Your wisdom is invaluable, and your stories can help others too. If you found this discussion helpful, please do give this video a thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow and reach more people who could benefit from these insights. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel. We're always here to share more practical advice and heartfelt discussions designed to help you live your best life at every age. Thank you for spending this time with me. Live your best life. Embrace your wisdom and cherish your inner peace.